All right, you should be seeing on your screen the actual test itself. And what we're going to do is we're going to start with number one, and I'm going to ask you to grade yourself. And the grading scale is going to be, -2, -1, 0, +1, +2, +1, +2. So if it rarely describes who you are, if the statement describes who you are very rarely, then give yourself a score of -2. If it describes you sometimes, give yourself a score of -1. If you're unsure, do a 0. And if if it often does, then give yourself a +1. And if that's usually you, and that usually describes who you are, then give yourself a score of +2. And then when we get to the end of the test, we will grade it and see, you'll get to see what your gifts are. All right, so let's start with question number one, or statement number one. You should be able to see that right here. The statement is, I am direct and persuasive in speaking to people about being wrong. Now, as we're doing this, if I get to going too quickly, let me know, say, hey, slow down, and we'll make sure to give everyone time.
Quick question, is that about me being wrong or about them being wrong?
Excuse me, it's about them being wrong. Like if you think they're wrong, are you direct and persuasive in trying to convince them that they're wrong?
Terry, you're a +2.
Well, I was going to jokingly say that too. Terry, you're probably a +2.
No, I candy coat things for people.
All right. Question two, or statement two, I am not afraid to give spiritual guidance and direction to others. All right, number three, I love to bring good news to people. And that's not just about the gospel itself, but it's about, I love bringing good news about anything to anyone. All right, number four, I do not move into action until I have planned completely. This is about, are you a planner or not? If you are a planner, do you have to have everything planned before you start? All right, number five, I am ready to try the impossible, knowing things will not work out in the end. Number six, I have the capacity to identify, define, and hate what is wrong. Number seven, it seems easy to me to learn difficult truths. Remember, guys, as we're going through, if you got questions about what it exactly it's about, just make sure to speak up. Or if I get going too fast, make sure to speak up and let me know. I identify with the downtrodden of society. Number 9, I seek out ways to comfort others. Number 10, I willingly do a variety of odd jobs to practically meet the needs of others. Number 11, people with problems come to me for advice and counsel.
Hey, Jeff, can
Yeah,
you show me the scoring again?
okay.
I'm gonna
It-
write it down.
yeah, it's rarely -2, sometimes -1, not sure 0, often +1, and usually +2. You got it written down?
Yeah, you're good.
Okay. Number 12, I adapt easily in an environment different from what I am used to. Number 13, I feel at ease when sharing information about my beliefs. Number 14, I hurt deeply inside when people are not doing right. Number 15, I give money and possessions without expecting anything in return. '16, I try hard to make people feel welcome. '17, others tell me how much they appreciate concern for them. Number 18, I have a desire to help those who are suffering and undeserving or underserved. Number 19, I recognize needs in others and immediately move to help them. Number 20, I enjoy giving emotional support to people who are depressed. Guys, I'm going to have to pick up the pace if we're going to get through 80 questions or 80 statements. So if I get going too fast, let me know. 21, people seem to be willing to follow my leadership. 22, I am a good manager of money. 23, I feel a sense of adventure when traveling. 24, I feel the hurt of those who are poor, physically sick, lonely, or imprisoned. Number 25, I enjoy evaluating results from studies, research, and tests. 26, I try to look for better ways to communicate my thoughts. 27, people say that I have a positive outlook on life. 28, people learn when I teach. 29, spending time with those who are ignored by others is a pattern for me. Number 30, I would have no problem leaving my possessions behind. 31, I have a readiness to help if there is a job that needs to be done. 32, people view me as impatient with others. 33, I enjoy reading and research. 34, I am concerned about making a good first impression.
Do 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000, then go.
Yeah. You're done.
Okay,
I'm reading.
35, I am motivated by people more than tasks. 36, it is hard for me to say no when someone asks for help. 37, I enjoy seeing personal growth in other people. 38, I have the ability to make difficult lessons seem easy to understand. 40, delegation of important responsibilities is something I do well. 40, I take the extra time needed to make sure my facts are correct. 41, I feel compelled to expose society's problems. 42, people perceive me as lacking firmness and discipline. 43, people say that I give away too much money, time, etc. 44, I am satisfied to contribute my skills by helping those in charge. 45, I recognize the talents in others. 46, I have enjoyed long-term relationships with various groups of people. 47, I relate to people of other nationalities. 48, people say they feel good when they are around me. 49, I feel the hurt and pain of others. 50, I give cheerfully, knowing that I cannot take it with me. 51, I make friends quickly. 52, I press on in task even when things look impossible. 53, I am content to perform jobs that are considered unimportant by others. 54. People value the answers I give them. 55. Taking responsibility for an important task is not a problem for me. 56. I weep over the wrongdoings, sins of others. 57. I am comfortable pressing for a decision when I know it is the right thing to do. 58. I will alter my lifestyle to help meet the needs of others. 59. I immediately want to help others when asked. 60. I tend to build up, encourage those who are unsure of themselves. 61. I like doing things around the house. 62. I am comfortable when people drop in unexpectedly. It is 7 o'clock. 63. I enjoy organizing people, ideas, and events. 64. I understand the emotional swings of those going through painful experiences. 65. I am content with my standing in life. 66. I believe the teaching learning process is vital to improvements. 67. I perceive when a person is being honest or dishonest. 68. I give anonymously. 69. I enjoy working with facts and figures. 70. I have a compassionate need to watch over my friends and family. 71. I am willing to study whatever is necessary to help others. 72. I am generally the life of the party. 73. I am personally and emotionally involved in the affairs of others, in the lives of others. 74. I work well with groups of people. 75. I invest my possessions and money in others.
Where do you see it? Where do you want to see it?
76. I have great joy in having people in my home. 77. I am accepting and sensitive toward others. 78. I learn other languages well. 79. I love to debate. Number 80. I speak the truth even when it is unpopular. All right. Do we have any questions anyone wants to go back to and check again? All right. Let's move on into grading. Didn't know you were going to be in class today, did you? I mean, a literal like class taking a test. All right, if you look at the screen, you can see how we've got apostle, evangelist, prophet, teacher, encourager, pastor, shepherd, mercy giver, servant, leads or administrator, and giver. To figure your score for each of those, you need to write down your answer for, we'll start with apostle. Number 5, write down your answer for question number 5.
Do what now?
Right, so write the word apostle on your sheet and then write the answer to question number 5. It'd be like, if you can see the screen, like so.
Yeah.
Okay, write down your answer to question number 12. Question number 23.
That empty one right beside it.
Yeah.
I just told them out.
Question 30. Question 47. Question 52. Question 62. And question 78.
Jeff, they may not be able to see the total column. You may have to make it a little smaller.
How's that?
Yeah.
So add up your scores for each of those questions. For me, the easiest thing was to add all the pluses and then subtract all the negatives. And you should get a total score of, so let's say 10. That's not my actual score, but that's, just an example. for some people, you might even end up with a score of a negative, like -1 or -2,
Oh, yeah.
which just means you're really not a traveling missionary or an apostle. That's not one of your gifts. All right, everybody ready to move on to the second column, evangelist? All right, write down your answers for questions 3, 13, 26, 34, 51, 57, 72, and 79.
Go after 34. What did you say?
51, then 57, 72, and 79. And then add up your total. All right. Is everyone ready to move on to number 3, the prophet? All right, for prophet, write down your answers to question number 1, question number 6, question 14, question 32, question 41, question 56, question 67, and question 80. All right, everyone ready to move on to teacher? Okay, for teacher, write down your answers to question number 7, question number 28, question number 33, question number 38, question number 40, question number 54, question number 66, and question number 71. Okay, is everyone ready to move on to our next spiritual gift? We will talk about the encourager. So for encourager, write down your answers to question number 9, question number 16, question number 20, question number 7, question number,
What was that, Jeff? I can't hear you. After question 20, I couldn't hear what you said.
okay, 27,
27, okay.
yeah. And question 35, question 48,
Goodness. Okay, go ahead.
question number 60, and lastly, question 77. All right, is everyone ready to move on to our next one? To Pastor Shepherd. Okay. Write down your answers to questions 2, 11, 17, 21, 37, 46, 59, and 70.
Awful dark. Isn't it? We're dark.
See.
Okay.
It worse.
Is everyone ready to move to the next one? Mercy Giver. All right. Mercy
Get
Giver.
up close, it's better.
Write down your answers to questions 8, 18, 24, 29, 42, 49, 64, and 73. Okay, everyone ready to move on to our next one? Servant. Okay. Write down your answers to questions number 10, 19, 31, 36, 44, 53, 61, and 76. Okay, is everyone ready to move on to our next one? Leader or administrator? Okay. Write down your answers to question number 4, 25, 39, 45, 55, 63, 69, and 74. Okay, is everyone ready to move on to our last spiritual gift? Our last spiritual gift is giver. And for that one, you will write down your answers to questions 15, 22, 43, 50, 58, 65, 68, and 75. I'm going to give everyone just a few minutes to add up their totals for each one.
Oh,
You should end up with something similar to what you see on the screen. your totals will be, obviously different, but it should be something like that. Okay, let me know when you're done adding up your scores.
Done.
Okay.
Done, done, done. Get ready.
All
I'm
right.
done. I'm done.
Okay. Outstanding. Anyone who needs just a few more minutes? Okay, outstanding. So what I want you to do is in this next little section is list your top 3 point totals by the name. So if your top score is Apostle, write that right here in this section and then put your point total there to the right. Whatever your top score is. And then take your second top score, write it in the second column. That's your number 2 gift, and write down your points. And then the same for your number 3 gift. Write down its name and your total number of points. Has everybody got their top 3 scores? Your top
Yes.
score is your primary spiritual gift. Your number 2 and your number 3 are also gifts that you have, but most often those gifts are used to better express your number 1 gift, your primary gift. A good example of that is Barnabas. Barnabas was an encourager. That's literally what his name means. But he used teaching and giving to be an encourager to other people. Okay. Now, list your lowest 2 point totals. These are your lowest gifts. These are the areas that you should only do if absolutely necessary. Some people would say avoid those because they will make you unhappy and they will make you feel unfulfilled. But there will be times when we have a responsibility to use or to work in those areas. Okay, guys, does everybody have their top 3 spiritual gifts and their lowest 2?
Check.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, was anyone shocked at what their top spiritual gift was?
I was shocked at one of them. Two I had, encourager and giver, I thought would be top. But then my other one was pastor shepherd.
Yeah, that's what I was too, Marty.
On my self-assessment, I put that as a 2. You know, when you have to self-assess, because I did this all last week, but but it came out a 10. That was a surprise.
That's very good. Anyone else?
I really wasn't surprised at all. I just wish I'd have known this years ago.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jim. A lot of these spiritual gift tests, they're actually really popular outside the church. People do this, especially when they first become Christians and they're learning to be disciples. They take these tests really early on so that they know what their spiritual gifts are, and so that they can focus on those areas and develop those gifts.
Yeah, I had people pushing me in directions that I just completely and utterly uncomfortable with.
Absolutely. One of those for me was apostle missionary. If you know me very well, you know I don't like traveling. I don't want to go into other places very much. I don't do well with change, and I don't do well with a lot of the things that a missionary, an apostle would have to be good at. That's not me. I actually got a score of a -14 for apostle.
I feel a lot better now. Okay.
And
I got 0
This,
for
I agree with
go ahead.
like the
Well, my low ones were prophet and teacher. Not
Prophet-
surprised.
She got the same thing that I did. Well, it's like the same.
Now, the goal of this, guys, is to better understand what your gifts are and where you best fit in. That way you can focus on those things you're good at, that you've been gifted for, and avoid those areas you're not. It's kind of like the first time I went into a jail ministry or prison ministry. There was a part of me that knew this is a good work and I should like it and I should be excited about it, but it didn't fit for me. I was uncomfortable and unhappy the entire time. And I later learned that that's not one of my gifts. That's not where I should be. And I shouldn't feel guilty for not being an apostle missionary. That's not who I am.
Hey Jeff, I got a question.
Okay.
So one of my strengths was pastorship. So what does that mean?
You were breaking up some, Judy, but I think you were asking one of your gifts was
Okay.
shepherd. How do you do that?
Pastor. Yeah.
Okay, that's actually a really good question, and we're going to actually the next 10 classes, maybe 5 classes, depends on how long it takes us to get through each one. We're going to look at each of these gifts. And we're going to talk about what the Bible says about them. We're going to talk about what it looks like, what it feels like, what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are. But also, we're going to look at, let's say, a giver. A giver has specific strengths and specific weaknesses, things they're really good at and things they're not good at. And as a result, there's other people that they need to have working with them, like a leader or administrator that can better organize those things. Or you see what I'm saying? Or for the giver, one of the things that's usually important is a teacher. Now, for Pastor Shepherd, I'll just go ahead and skip ahead on this one a little bit and just say, because I bet a lot of the women got Pastor Shepherd.
Yeah.
And the reason is a pastor shepherd is a nurturer, someone who wants to take care of people, check in on people, someone who's really concerned about helping people. And a lot of times we don't see that, but if you think about a shepherd and what they actually do, it's so much more than just being a leader or a protector. It's about being that person in another person's life that's going to be constantly trying to take care of them.
Okay.
I thought it meant like a preacher or an elder. That's what when I first looked at that description, that's why I put it as a 2 when I did a self-assessment.
Yeah, exactly.
But now you've explained what the meaning is, that makes more sense.
Right. And like I said, we're going to get into this more in the next classes and describe each of those. So what I want you to do is keep your list handy. Keep your top 3 talent or spiritual gifts close at hand. Reflect on it. Pray on it. And the same thing with your lowest 2 gifts. Pray about it. Think about it, spend some time reflecting on it, and then next week we're going to start and we'll talk about what an apostle missionary is, their strengths, their weaknesses, what they need, what they don't need, and we'll work our way through each of those things. Because some of them, like teacher, I think teacher is pretty self-explanatory, but most people don't get the idea of a prophet. Most of us, when we hear the word prophet, we think Old Testament, worker of miracles, prophesying the future. And in a New Testament context, that's not exactly what a prophet was. All right, guys, any questions or comments before we wrap up our class tonight?
I somehow got teacher as my top. I'm not patient enough for this. This quarantine is proving that I'm not a teacher.
No.
Quarantine weary, is that it?
Yeah.
But she's a strict teacher. She's good at that.
That might be a good thing, because sometimes that's
Veronica.
exactly what.
Busted.
Veronica, I got a -1 as a teacher, so there's.
I
proof.
don't know how I scored that high. I'm not a teacher. I don't know.
I'm not.
I'm not a teacher.
I mean, I feel like I was pretty honest.
Yeah.
Hey.
I went through this test 5 times. I took it 5 times independently of each other and graded it. And my top 3 was my top 3 all 5 times.
Wow.
My lowest 2 were different a couple times. And if you go through and take this test, most likely it'll be the same for you. Your top 3 gifts will be your top 3 gifts.
I mean, I expected the leader and administrator, you know. But that whole teacher thing, that requires patience. Not very good.
But now you know you're gifted as a teacher. It's something to think about.
Yep. It's scary.
Yeah.
I'm intimidated.
Hey, Jim, I left you a message in the chat window, Jim.
Oh. You were the one, huh? Okay. Hey, don't worry, Tara. Everybody gets an incontinent hamster in the mail, okay?
Oh, I'm still waiting.
Do we have any other questions or comments before we wrap up tonight?
Jeff, just what is the mercy giver? What in what context is that meant in this thing?
Okay. A mercy giver is someone who is always there to show kindness and mercy to those who are struggling, those who are making mistakes. Most mothers are really good at being a mercy giver. Most dads are not. Most dads are demanding and hard.
I'm a
I
dad.
heard Veronica laughing in the background.
That was one of my lowest scores.
Uh,
There's no mercy in this house.
I'm quarantined for a while.
that's true most of the time, but not every time.
Mercy giver was my worst one. And I'm always giving to my kids.
Yeah. But that's probably a giver. You know, you probably scored high on giving, but less on mercy. All right, guys. One thing. Let me see here. Communion supplies. Guys, we got more cups. We got plenty of bread here. If anyone needs communion supplies, as this thing continues to stretch out a little bit, make sure to let us know. I think we're out of grape juice right now, so we'll need some more of that. But we've got plenty of bread. All right, with that, guys, Jim, would you mind leading us in a closing prayer?
Sure.
All right, thank you, Jim.
Father, as we come before you for the final time this evening as a family, let us give thanks for what we were able to share, for the insight into what we're good at, what we're not, and how we can utilize it. Let's keep coming back and make this profitable for everyone. May your kingdom shine. May we keep on looking ever upwards. In your son's name we pray. Amen.
Yeah.